Marquette will have the ball. 67-57 lead. And the national championship on the line. Davidson jumps out at the buzzer. It's good. The basket is good. The Marquette has done it.
The only time North Carolina and Marquette met before, a tearful Al McGuire walked away from college coaching a national champion. But that was 9 years ago. And today, on the icy shores of Lake Michigan, these two teams meet under extremely different circumstances. Dean Smith, who was on the losing end in '77, brings to Milwaukee an unbeaten powerhouse. They are the dominant team in college basketball. So what we have today is an old-fashioned shootout as North Carolina comes to town as the #1 gunslinger, and Marquette is gunning for them. Marquette with a shot at the Tar Heels is next.
Milwaukee, and a whole city is ready for an upset. But it will not be easy. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. The Tar Heels come in here 18-0. No question about it. They are #1 in the land, and they have been ever since Georgia Tech was upset by Michigan in the Tip-Off Classic. Yesterday, well, they inaugurated the brand new arena back in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. It was the Tar Heels against Duke, and Duke stayed close in the first half. But then the Tar Heels' Steve Hale caught fire. He was able to score 28 points and lead them down the stretch. Watch here as Hale gets two as they pick up the tempo and drive to the basket in the Dean Smith Student Activity Center. North Carolina pulled to a 16-point lead. Brad Daugherty scored 23. Then Duke came back with a rush. They closed to within 6 points. Mike Krzyzewski's team was under fire. They missed a big hoop here, and it was Hale at the other end, and North Carolina had done it again, 95-92. Now, of course, a tough turnaround for the Tar Heels. They traveled in here last night to play a much improving Marquette team. Coach Smith is standing by live with Billy Packer, so let's go to Billy.
Coach, we really appreciate you coming over right before this ball game. A tough turnaround for your team to play a conference game of that magnitude yesterday and run back right up here to play in Milwaukee.
Well, Marquette also is a very good basketball team. You give them about 4 points in 3 different games, they're top 10. So it'll be a tough one for us.
One of the things from a standpoint of preparation, during NCAA tournament time, you never know who's going to be the guy right there the next day. Is this the kind of game where you don't have a chance to prepare, and the long haul, it might be very helpful to you?
We do this all throughout the year, though. We prepare October 15th, December 1st, and then just worry about our own execution.
I'm going to let you go. Talk to your ball club. Thanks for stopping by. Brent?
All right, Billy, thank you very much. So the Warriors of Marquette, 11-4, but they've won 7 of their last 8, and they're ready for the Tar Heels.
CBS Sports presents NCAA basketball. Today's game between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Marquette Warriors is sponsored by Today Chevrolet, who invite you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86. Hewlett-Packard, the people who turn your business computing problem into a business computing solution. And by Bud Light, everything else is just a light.
Virginia, Warren Mark.
Back live at the Mecca Arena in Milwaukee. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Tar Heels and the Warriors here this afternoon. At the point guard, Kevin Johnson for Marquette. Kenny Smith for the Tar Heels. The #2 guard, Benny Moore of the Warriors. Steve Hale for the Tar Heels. Then the big horses up front. Walter Downey, #13 of Marquette. Brad Daugherty. David Boone will draw Warren Martin. Dave Popson will come off the bench this afternoon. Kerry Trotter at the other forward against Joe Wolf. And Joe Wolf is a big story here this afternoon. He is seated alongside Dean Smith over there on the bench. He was recruited out of the state of Wisconsin by Smith and the Tar Heels, perhaps the finest high school player ever to come out of the state of Wisconsin. And so this afternoon, of course, his family from Kohler, Wisconsin, here in number.
And it is Mr. and Mrs. Leo Wolf who have come to cheer their son. And this is something that Dean Smith likes to do for all of his players. If he goes out of the state of North Carolina and recruits someone like Joe Wolf, he will schedule a game sometime in the 4 years that you are a student there at Carolina. So this is the appearance for Joe Wolf, and it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to the pressure. Sometimes these fellows coming home, they try a little bit too hard to get the job done. And of course, on the other hand, Dean Smith will try to give him as many minutes as possible. Dean mentioned to Billy Packer that this was a good Marquette team. Indeed, it is an improving Marquette team. Now, the thing to watch up front is whether or not the horses can play with those thoroughbreds that Smith has brought in here. That is the key question about this game. What can they do down low against the Dohertys, the Martins, and the Wolves, and the Popsons? We're going to find out. Rick Majerus is the Marquette coach. He was a longtime assistant under Al McGuire and also Hank Raymond, who is now the athletic director at Marquette. He's a very vocal, active coach on the sidelines. We'll be seeing him throughout the afternoon. Jump ball is won by the Warriors, and here they come to the attack. Johnson is the point man.
Straight man-to-man.
Boone out high.
Hale taking the highest score in the backcourt.
Trotter hits the game's first field goal. Terry Trotter from Omaha, Nebraska.
Many consider Terry Trotter the best player ever to come out, all-around player ever to come out of Omaha, Nebraska.
There's the coach. Hey, look at his tie, folks. Look how neat he is dressed. Let me tell you, we're going to show you a tight shot of him by the fourth quarter. I will guarantee you that tie will be askew. There'll be a couple of buttons down. He'll be all over the place. He'll remind you of John Madden over there on the sideline. Warren Martin now wheels it to the top, and Brad Doherty. You're watching the unbeaten Tar Heels, #1, getting Doherty free.
Well, that's a straight back pick. North Carolina does it so well. Marquette starts out man-to-man, and Rick Majerus turns around and frowns because that's something he didn't want to see early.
They may have to go to his own defense here early because of that size advantage underneath by the Tar Heels. Boone has it knocked free, goes back out of bounds, and it's the Warriors' possession.
Boone has had great stats so far. He's a fellow that fell in an unusual situation. Recruited by the University of San Francisco, they dropped their basketball program. He went to St. Mary's and then transferred here into Marquette.
He turned it over into the hands of Coach Smith. And there is the Tom Landry, if you will, of college basketball coaching, Dean Smith. What a fabulous job he has done, and they honored him by naming that new Student Activity Center in honor of him yesterday. Martin again down low, and so that's 2 right there at the glass, Billy Packer.
One of the things has to go through Rick Majerus' head is maybe coming in with 2 big men at one time, because right now North Carolina is throwing the ball right over their head.
Now, on the drive that time was Trotter, and the foul was called, and that, of course, is our first one on Wolf.
If North Carolina has a weakness, it's the fact that they don't have a great deal of athletic quickness in their front line. Now, they have huge size, they have good hand coordination, and they can all catch the ball well, but they don't have that foot speed, and Trotter taking advantage of that on Wolf right now.
Here's Moore, a left-handed shooter from the corner. Carolina runs it down. No offensive rebound. Kenny Smith, slick ball handling guard. Doherty at the top, goes to Wolf, and again they get it in low, and Doherty, no basket, and the foul is called on Downey, #13.
I think it was funny when we were talking to Rick Majerus last night. He said one thing is absolutely certain in this game. Walter Downing will foul out. And then the great line, let's give Rick credit for it. He said he would foul out of a slam dunk contest. I think that's one of the all-time great comments. But he's got his first. He's got 4 to go. They go zone on the out of bounds. Carolina throws it right over the zone.
Give it outside to Smith, who traveled. On the turnover, it'll go to Marquette. North Carolina leading by 2, just underway at the Mecca against Dean Smith and the top-ranked Tar Heels of North Carolina.
Kenny Smith picking up 3-quarter court. Trying to take them out of their offensive pattern a little bit.
They go to the trap. They get it back out to Johnson, and they wheel the ball to Trotter. Good hustle on the offensive rebound. Shot is blocked underneath by Martin, and it goes out of bounds.
Now, Warren Martin is not a leaper, but he plays with his hands above his head very well. Now, some big guys always have their hands down at their side. Martin's their best shot blocker and keeps those hands up. Another double team.
Knocked away and off of Warren Martin's outstretched arm that time. Into the corner, and Wolf
hits Doherty, who's the open man in the paint.
Brad Doherty is an excellent jump shooter, especially facing the basket. He's got range out there about 18 feet.
Johnson on the penetration, lobs it high up over the pine trees. Downing has it stuffed, and it goes to Carolina.
There's Martin again. Not a great leap, but he's got those hands up there. Boy, Carolina wants that ball inside. Doherty gets excellent position. Great move.
Right to the glass. Now, this is something that Majerus and Marquette cannot afford. That is to fall behind by a big margin and have to dig back against this team, and already it is 8-2.
And I think it's obvious that Carolina's inside game is going to be effective. There's the third
Another block shot, and that time it was Boone. And so Marquette starts 1 of 7. North Carolina is 4 of 4 from the field. Martin tries to run it down. It goes to Johnson of the Warriors. 3-on-2. Johnson gets it, and it goes back inside, and putting it down is Boone. David Boone out of San Francisco with the field goal.
That was a big early basket. There's Doherty again, same play.
Foul by Trotter.
Marquette foul.
You see, excellent position by Doherty. There's no way Downing's going to be able to handle him by himself in there, and may force Rick Majerus to go with 2 big guys. He comes back with Tom Copa, who had an excellent game yesterday against Dayton. But Rick can already sense the problem that he's got. Whether he can do anything about it, we'll have to see.
Well, and as he senses the problem, Dean Smith has just shipped him a new one. Here's a 3-guard lineup as Jeff Lebo checks in, now along with Hale, who can operate as a swingman at a small forward, and Kenny Smith. So Doherty and Wolf are now the 2 big men up front for the Tar Heels.
And if you were preparing for North Carolina, Rick Majerus didn't have a long time to do. This is an entirely different concept that Dean Smith has on the floor right now, so it's very difficult to prepare for the team one way.
Checking into the game is Dave Popson. Doherty will sit down.
And you notice the defense changes too. It's full court pressure with a lot of trapping.
Johnson held the dribble. Now he gets it to Boone. Pulls up with a jump shot that's short, but Trotter had the rebound and blew the shot underneath. Had an easy shot and just didn't put it away. Smith's open on the wing for Hale. Hale likes to get back into the center of Art Wolf, and here's Lebo, the freshman. Oh, he can shoot with anybody.
Count it. He is a great pure shooter. Had a sensational game against the University of Maryland the other night. Actually bailed North Carolina out.
Lebo on defense against Johnson. Johnson with a good move against him.
Johnson showing a superior quickness on that play. And now Marquette drops back in the zone for the first time. Interesting they'd go to the zone against the small team and man-to-man against the big team. They've got to be aware of Hale and Lebo and Smith, all good outside shooters.
Get it back to Hale. Majerus wanted traveling when they shipped it inside to Wolf.
Here's where fans can get an idea of how long 45 seconds is. You know, North Carolina not panicking at all, taking their time.
Smith.
That's a mark of a well-coached team. I mean, they didn't force it at all. They realized they had about 15 seconds still left. Worked the ball in nicely.
Lebo picks up Johnson. Popson leaning on Copa, who turns on him and misfires. Marquette is a little tight in the early going in this game. Copa banks one in.
Good hustle by Gary Trotter to keep that ball alive.
Smith, 2 for 2.
Boy, a critical mistake. You never let the man who has the ball in his hand alone. I mean, he's the only dangerous player at that given moment. He's the guy that can shoot it. Straight man-to-man by North Carolina. More. Kenny Smith upset with that. He just lost his man, got caught in the screen.
So far, the Heels are showing everyone why they're #1. They have not missed from the field in 7 attempts.
There's the zone. 2-3 with Copa down in the middle.
Knocked away. Good defense inside. Johnson pressures it back for Marquette. The Heels are back on defense. They don't give him the layup.
Good job by Johnson in regard to the decision not to go in there and cause trouble.
Copa. Boone with a strong rebound, and he's fouled by Popson.
David Boone is averaging almost 10 rebounds a game. Considering the competition at Marquette's plate, that's a very solid performance off the boards for a forward. Look at Rick Majerus. Is he sweating? Is he in the game a little bit?
We've got a timeout in Milwaukee. We'll be right back.
Billy Packer, you're always talking about floor leadership. What do you mean?
Well, this is really pants leadership right here. Now, Copa had to remember, you know, the big guys sometimes, Brent, they forget where they're supposed to be, okay? But he's in a 2-3 zone, forgot where he's supposed to be. Now, here's Doherty getting excellent position on Downing. One of the reasons Downing gets in foul trouble is that he has a hard time getting right position. He went for the little head fake. Doherty went right around him.
He is 3 of 3 in this game. And in the 7 previous games, he hit 75 of 110 field goal attempts. That's better than 68%. Added 25 of 36 free throws, grabbed 70 rebounds, and scored 175 points. Moore maneuvering for the Warriors, missed it, and it was Boone with a strong rebound, lost control as he came down to the floor. It'll go over to the Tar Heels.
And you notice Dean Smith already going to the multiple lineups. He's got Lebo, Madden's now in the ball game. Granzino, Smith. Dean Smith goes to that bench right away. Of course, he has so many quality players to put in.
And Martin, who gets it to Doherty, loose ball. Here come the Warriors. Johnson out of the pack, looking for room, and Smith cuts him off. Whips the ball to Boone, who rises up, and Doherty was leaning back on Copa and fouled him.
I'm really impressed so far with Kevin Johnson's thinking out there on the floor. He's not trying to force the action, getting the ball to the right people, doing a good job on the point.
Carolina up by 6, and that's the margin that Majerus wants to stay in this game by. 4-5, not get down by double digits. He wants to have a chance in the last 5 minutes. Doesn't have the talent, but he thinks he's got the desire here this afternoon. Moore negotiating, and he hits the field goal, and the crowd will keep him in the game too, won't they?
Moore's an excellent streak shooter. Got good size and a left-handed jumper, not afraid to take it. They stay back in the 2-3 zone. North Carolina try to go over the top of it with the 2 big men inside.
Lebo out to the top. Denny Smith now rotates around to Hale. This is Martin.
Oh, great play, Lebo. What's happening, as you can see, Martin is not quick with the feet. He just keeps that ball above his head. He was saved that time by Jeff Lebo, the freshman.
Trotter cuts. No basket. Offense, no basket. Dick Papero with the offensive foul call.
That was an excellent defensive play by Steve Hale, who's been called upon in his career to guard forwards and guards and point guards. Just held good position. Trotter tried to gain advantage with the body. And Rick didn't like it.
When they do the Rick Majerus story, Peter Boyle gets to play the lead.
He better like to eat.
They both love basketball, I'll tell you that. Alley-oop, Doherty couldn't get it down. Snapped away by Trotter. Boom. And again, it's going to go the other way. It goes against the Warriors.
And that was Lebo staying underneath the jump shooter. Rick Majerus can't believe this one. He thought the foul was on the shot, but it was after the shot where Boone came down on top. One of the things Rick has to be worried about a little bit is the fatigue factor. He just played yesterday. He does not have the depth that North Carolina has, and obviously he can't afford the foul trouble.
Dean Smith, of course, with that deep bench. One of the keys to Smith's success is his ability to keep everyone happy on his teams. I know a lot of coaches with talent like Smith has, and they wind up with problems. But he seems to sense when someone's unhappy, needs a couple more minutes. I very seldom remember a Carolina player beefing about a lack of playing time. And remember, he's got a lot of players who deserve minutes out there. This is a highly skilled basketball team.
You know, when Coach Wooden only used to play 6 players or 7 players, and I asked him about that same thing since he had depth of talent, and he said it was never my job to keep them happy. So a different philosophy, 2 of the great coaches in the game.
Smith on the penetration, whips it back to Lebo on the bounce pass to Doherty. Hale dives to the floor, but it went out of bounds. Marquette's ball.
If North Carolina will ever have a problem in a specific situation, sometimes it's overpassing, but they'd rather do that than underpass, and that was the case there.
The turnovers are even at 5 apiece. We've got a timeout in Milwaukee. Back in Milwaukee, I'm Brett Musburger along with Billy Packer, and Billy, both these schools have winning traditions.
Well, you can see there UCLA was #1 over the past 20 years. Interesting, in the last 10 years, North Carolina has moved now to #1 with DePaul, Nevada, Las Vegas underneath them, then Arkansas and Georgetown. Things have changed in the last 10, but obviously 2 outstanding programs here on the floor today.
Trotter got it across and goes in. That is the first field goal by Pop Sims, who had checked in.
Not a very good shooter, but very good offensive structure by Marquette. Sims shooting under 40%, and they staying in that zone.
Lebo gets it into the middle, and Madden missing. Trotter rebounding.
Give Rick Majerus a lot of credit. He went to the zone early, realizing North Carolina was just going to take pop shots against the man-to-man. Bad pass by Lebo.
And it went to Moore, but Lebo comes out with the rebound. Marquette is back on defense, and he turned it over. He was pressed out of that. There was body contact, and it forced him to turn his dribble over.
You can see good defensive pressure, and Jeff Lebo tried to go ahead against the body. He lost it right there and hit his knee, and he had to pick it up. That last pass that Lebo threw back in bounds, Brett, you should never throw it back under the other team's basket. Everything can go wrong for you there.
Pope on the turnaround. And Marquette is hanging tough against #1. It's 18-16. This is the kind of game the Warriors want.
And I think going to the zone is what really helped Marquette.
Tough shot, and the shot is missed, and now the Warriors can tie it up. Sims gets it to Trotter. But there was a double dribble coming out at the other end. The crowd was making so much noise that no one could hear when they released. They went all the way to the other end, and Papero had the turnover down here. So the ball is going to go to the Tar Heels.
Well, you know, you might as well mention this. This is a game that North Carolina is playing on Marquette's home court, but these 3 officials are Atlantic Coast Conference officials. So, you know, that's an old Al McGuire trick. You know, if I play on your place, I bring my officials. And that's not to say that we've got any impropriety going on here, but that is the fact in this game.
Downing returns because we've got 2 personal fouls on Boone. Copa sits down on the Marquette bench. Doherty can't close off the 3-point play, and Boone is fouled underneath, rebounding. That is the first personal foul on Madden.
North Carolina foul, number 22, Kevin Madden. His first, the team's fourth.
Warriors trailing the Tar Heels by 4 points.
You know, it's not like this is an easy place to win. They won 81 straight here, did Marquette, on this court.
Boom. Curtis Hunter replaced Madden. You got a shot at him at the other end. Lebo. Downing runs it down. Marquette can tie it this trip.
The zone giving North Carolina problem. Nice play by
On the
Curtis
steal,
Hunter.
here comes Hunter. Loses it out of bounds, and that was good hustle by Sims coming back on defense.
Hunter never could get the handle on this steal. You can see Sims working his way all the way down court, gets a piece of it, and knocks it out of bounds. Hunter had the breakaway.
Hale checks back in, and Lebo sits down next to Bill Guthridge there, a long-time Dean Smith assistant coach.
I think we'll see North Carolina start posting a guy in the middle. That's a walk.
And on the turnover,
Brent, I think we'll see North Carolina post a man in the middle and start to take their time a little more against the zone. They've been trying to force things inside too quickly. We'll see them get the ball down in the middle a little bit to guys like Doherty and then work from there.
7 turnovers apiece by these 2 teams in the early going. Johnson gets it to Downing. Downing goes goes to the glass, and we're tied in Milwaukee. Carolina has hit only 1 of its last 6 shots after hitting 7 in a row to start this game. And it was, as Billy Packer pointed out, the zone defense that turned it completely around.
Well, we saw a game yesterday, Syracuse against Louisville, where Syracuse stayed back in the zone. It did not work. They waited a long time, got down a long way, then they changed their defense and got back in the game.
Wolf has it rejected. Lead pass coming back is Johnson. Johnson with a great defensive play, and he finishes up at the other end. Now it's Curtis Miller,
didn't know
and
he was
just charged right on into Trotter. He had no idea that Trotter had taken up position and was waiting at the defensive end.
You really sense now that North Carolina has let the game get away from them a little bit. Good job by Marquette, and there was a case Hunter just didn't know he was there, and as a dribbler, the defender does not have to give you time and distance.
Billy, it never fails. You schedule a tough Marquette, Notre Dame, DePaul team. You come play one of those Catholic schools, and they'll get up and give you a ball game, right? Yes, indeed, they'll come banging after you. Downing ships it back, and from the perimeter, Pop Sims.
We're talking about Pop Sims hitting from that perimeter. He's been shooting 30% on the year. He's 2 for 2 from the outside now.
Anybody tell him this is North Carolina? They're unbeaten. They're #1.
Well, North Carolina looking like they're having a day in the second half against Villanova. Remember last year?
I'm trying to forget it. Doherty whips it to Hale. Rattles out. Loose. Marquette's getting the loose balls right now, and it's Johnson pulling up on the jump shot, and look who's there. Pops, but he misses that time. Wolf is out for the heels. Lebo quickly pressuring the other end. He does that. When he gets the ball, he'll come right out after you. Wolf gets it back to Lebo.
Nice job by Trotter. He didn't go for the head fake.
Doherty.
North Carolina
North Carolina likes to throw right over the top of the zone. Perfect pass by Lebo. Hale looking to come over and trap.
Nice move by Trotter. But he missed on the shot. Down to the heels. Here comes Lebo.
Oh,
Quick
beautiful
Hunter
pass.
gets it back. Oh, it's goaltending by Downing.
No call.
No call on
No
it.
call.
Knocked it out of bounds. Downing got up with a great block then.
I'm going to get you a striped shirt, Brent. Let's see. Up. Yes, sir, Mr. Musburger, you were correct.
You bet I was correct. I saw it, baby. There was no doubt about it. That was goaltending. Billy, for the first time since September, no football. Where can a man find some banging around today?
I guarantee you'll see it with Walter Downing. He's getting excellent position on Doherty. Shoots the little jump hook, and it goes. You know, Downing was a player that was recruited at DePaul, and many felt at that time that he was going to continue in that great program with Aguirre and Cummings, but it just never worked out for him there. He transferred up here to Marquette.
North Carolina trailing by a field goal. 6:45 to go, first half. Hale. Short. Doherty has it knocked away, and on the steal, they picked him clean. Sims and Johnson did a number on him, and Sims was covered that time, so he went to Trotter. Marquette's playing a smart game right now.
Excellent judgment on the part of both Johnson and Sims. Now they've got 2 very small men out front. They can throw right over.
Beautiful block by Downing on Hale.
No
Coming
place
back
to go.
at Sims, and he'll pull it up this time. Hunter with the rebound.
That would have been better off to pull that one back out.
Hale ships it to Martin. Martin hits the field goal, and it's 26-24.
But there again is that judgment. It's not that that was a bad shot, but you don't want to get this thing into a helter-skelter game. If you bring the ball back out, work your offense a little bit. No place to go.
Downing just looked down. He didn't sense that the defense had come over from that weak side. They really had him sealed up. Lebo. Tapped in by Doherty, an easy tip in by Brad Doherty, who now from the field is 7 of 8 in this game.
Now there's 2 mental judgments against Marquette. The bad shot, and then Walter Downing going somewhere he had no business to go, backcourt.
Over
3
and
quick
back.
turnovers.
He caught the ball and came down with 1 foot in the backcourt, and now both coaches go to the bench. You see checking in, Wolf is on the floor for the Tar Heels, and Doherty will sit down. Kevin Madden has returned. After a tough game yesterday, you would expect Smith to use that bench often here this afternoon, especially since Marquette is not that deep. Kenny Smith. Back to Hale. In low toward Martin, who was losing his balance as he came toward it, and he actually slipped into that foul by Copa.
That was a big break for North Carolina, because you're right, Warren Martin was off balance. He has a lot of problems when he gets in traffic with his footwork. Copa picked up the foul.
Inbounds
the lob.
The Heels.
North Carolina likes to go the lob when they pack everybody back inside.
Back to Smith. Loose. Here's more for Marquette.
Shoot the jumper.
And he does. Copa stays with it underneath. Loose. Tap back, and Sims with possession.
But there was Warren Martin again. He made 3 plays, never got more than 1.5 inches off the ground on any one of the 3.
Boone bangs into him, and a blocking foul is called on Warren Martin. So we are live from the Mecca Arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Brent Musburger along with Billy Packer. Unbeaten and top-ranked North Carolina deadlocked with Marquette. Carolina opened up a small lead at the start of the game. Marquette switched from a man-to-man to a zone defense. The Warriors have scratched and clawed their way back into it. And Boone comes up with a right-handed shot. Gets the rebound, goaltending on Doherty. And the Warriors go ahead, 28-26.
Boone gets off his feet very well. And he gets off quick, gets good balance inside. He's got a lot of strength in the upper body, so he's a tough rebounder. And that zone has caused a lot of problems for North Carolina. Marquette started early in the man-to-man. They've gone to the zone, and North Carolina really hasn't gotten into sync with their zone offense.
Copa steals. They wanted Wolf. Sims slowing down. Marquette leading by 2.
Sometimes you look to pass away with your eyes. That time Madden gave it away.
Trotter missing. Wolf rebounding. Here's Smith for the Heels. Loses the dribble, but regains control. I would have to believe that Kenny Smith would be one of the tired players out here today with all the pressure that Duke must have exerted on him yesterday. Madden slides inside and gets the field goal.
Kevin Madden, of course, a highly recruited player, had a rough time in preseason practice and conditioning. Almost didn't get a chance to play for North Carolina because he didn't beat the standard mile time.
From the corner, it's Moore, and he unties it. 3-minute mark, first half.
But Madden's a scorer.
And he also travels occasionally. That is the 12th turnover by North Carolina. Rick Majerus and the Warriors are getting the job done, at least in the first half.
The 76ers and the Celtics. The rivalry continues next Sunday on CBS Sports.
All right, the head coach at Marquette is Rick Majerus in there, covered up by all his men as he talks to him. He's 37 years old. And Majerus was a walk-on. He played for McGuire here at Marquette. And he was telling us this morning, he said one day in practice, he said, I was trying to impress my coach. You see McGuire there? Well, Majerus was the assistant the night they won the championship. Look at those awful pants he had on down there, huh? He was wearing Carolina blue. He had the wrong color on that
He
night.
tried to jinx him.
Anyway, he was trying to get McGuire's attention, and Al finally called him over at practice, and Rick said, oh, boy, my opportunity. And McGuire said, Whitey, "You're the worst player I ever coached in my life. Why don't you think about quitting?" And he said, "I was crestfallen. I asked him for another year, got it, became a longtime assistant. McGuire once referred to him as one of the finest assistant coaches in the country, and now he's running the program here at Marquette. Extremely well-liked and personable head coach of the Warriors." Boone turning around, takes it right back with that quick jump, and that high lob doesn't fall down. Davis had checked into the game wearing the face guard for Marquette. Hale to the attack for the Tar Heels.
Boone's starting to show a little wear. Of course, he's going to get a good rest here at halftime, but he's been battling against superior size in there. I know he's getting a little tired.
Knocked away by Boone, that quickness.
You notice that he was a little, about 3 minutes ago, he intercepts that ball. He's just a little tired, not being able to get to it.
Lebo returns it to Hale. Doherty sends it back to Hale.
The block.
Moore came over and is called for the foul. I thought he had all ball.
Yep.
I agree with you, Billy.
He was right there. He's just a second late.
Well, at halftime, coming up, the Sooners of Oklahoma after Tisdale. Well, right now, it's unbeaten after Tisdale. Billy Packer will take a look at that team. Al McGuire.
How about that?
Who is that fella?
I don't know. We'll see him. He'll be here at halftime.
Can you imagine having Al McGuire and John Madden on live?
That's right. That's right.
This may be the longest halftime in the history of basketball. We better ask for an extra 10 minutes.
Well, we talk about life, maybe.
Now, that's that face mask I just referred to on Mike Davis. It's out of Chico, California. Playing with the injured nose.
Last year it was the jaw. This year the nose. He hasn't had good fortune since he's been at Marquette. You know, you were talking about that staff. One of the things that I never felt that Al had been credited enough for is the fact that he developed a great staff. And I don't know if any coach in the country has had an entire staff end up being head coaches at that same school. Hank Raymond's had success here after Al, and then, of course, Rick. All coming out of that same staff.
Well, Marquette was one of the final teams not to make the NCAA field a year ago, and they went to the NIT and played a classic double overtime game against Indiana. Here's Boone. Boone maneuvering at the baseline, coming up with the shot. On the loose ball, it's run down by the heels, and Martin with a nice steal from Jeff Lebo.
Well, Martin sure gives the effort. That 2-3 zone keeps getting packed back in there. Wolf, that's his spot.
And Martin, bang. Wolf stays with it underneath, no whistle. Ball goes out of bounds, and it'll stay in Carolina's possession. I can't believe that wasn't a foul call down there. And near the end of today's game, Billy and I will select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game. And Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of both North Carolina and Marquette. Downey checking back in.
Rick Majerus is definitely not a spectator as a coach. He took Boone out of the game. He sensed how tired he was, doesn't want him to pick up a cheap foul. He's using Davis because he knows he has to have big people in there and keep his people rested and out of foul trouble.
On the turnover.
Nice job.
He's into the game, and every second down to 55. Deadlocked at 30, and Majerus can take a halftime lead here if we can get something going this grip.
I think they'd be smart to take a little time off the clock. Oh, bad shot. Even if he makes it, it was a bad shot.
Martin rebounds and gives Carolina an opportunity to go ahead at the end of the half.
You have to wonder what Davis was thinking about there.
On the turnover, coming right back, it is Johnson. Johnson missing the layup. And now it is Jeff Lebo out of the pack. Lebo glides inside, goes to Wolf, who used the left hand, and finally taps it back in. That's his first field goal after 7 attempts. A frustrating first half as Joe Wolf returns to his home state.
They want one shot here. Don't let North Carolina get their hands on the ball again. North Carolina goes to the trap.
Here's Wolf from the corner. They were very impatient the last minute of the first half. Time has run out, and it was a dandy. Rick Majerus and the Warriors have looked number one in the eye. There it is. So look at him. The coach coming off, folks. We're about to get serious. The end of the first half. North Carolina leading Marquette and Majerus, but only by a field goal. And we'll return after these messages via local station.
Back at the half, and a lot closer than folks expected, Billy Packer.
One guy didn't expect it to be not this close, and that's you. I want to give you credit for that, Brent. Last night you said to me, this is what this game is going to be. You were right on the money.
Well, I'll tell you exactly why. Anytime you play a talented team like Duke and you've got to make an airplane flight and come in here against a team that's not ranked, and that team is playing at Super Bowl today. Marquette wants to impress the country. They think they deserve in the NCAA tournament this year.
Well, the way they're playing right now, both defensively, their coach is really thinking on the money. I think they've got a lot more talent they're given credit for, and they are one of the best 64 teams in America, I'm sure.
Hey, Billy, you know, it's been a tough week for unbeatens. You know, we started the week, we got 6. And we've lost 3. Syracuse got picked off by Georgetown first, and then they lost again yesterday. Michigan loses at Minnesota. Duke yesterday loses for the first time. Now we've got North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Memphis State. I think the biggest surprise is Oklahoma. Wayman Tisdale was their heart and soul. He elected to leave early and go into the NBA, and Billy Packer takes a look at the Sooners.
The only 2 things in life that make it worth living is being a Sooner fan and always winning.
After long, careful consideration, I have decided to make myself available for the NBA draft.
I think that we have the kind of program that good players are going to come and go through here, and when they move on, you don't drop off. You still continue to have a good program. If you look around the nation, there's a lot of programs that good guys go through, and they don't fall off the cliff when they leave.
To help recover from Tisdale's departure, the team went on a barnstorming tour of Tahiti and South New Zealand this past summer.
Basically, the trip to Tahiti and New Zealand this summer was kind of like spring training in football. It did allow us to play without an impact player like Wayman was, and for our guys to start accepting their various roles that they would have. It worked out quite well.
3 stars have emerged this season, with senior Anthony Bowie and juniors Darrell Kennedy and Tim McAllister coming to the front. They've helped lead the Sooners to a 17-0 record, and they have enjoyed basking in the spotlight that was denied them while Wayman was a Sooner.
I think it really is better without Wayman because, you know, we got the chemistry working better, you know. We got scoring comes from everywhere.
We're just more rounded as a team. Everybody knows what they have to do, and everybody's capable of stepping up, taking a jumper, rebounding, playing more together than we ever have.
Tim McAllister just doesn't help carry the team. He can also carry a tune.
Darling, you send me, honest you do, honest you do, honest you do.
Tim, I hope the NBA wants you. The Sooners still run and gun, but there's a new weapon in their arsenal. It's defense.
You see that he has you beat, trail right along, ready to hammer the ball when it goes up. You know what I mean?
He emphasized defense so much this year, you know. It's defense every day, you know. No matter what we're doing, it's defense.
With no starter over 6'7", Oklahoma still has weaknesses. But at home, they're 43 straight, keeping their hopes and their fans flying high.
I knew they were going to be a great team whether I was there or not. You know, Coach Tubbs told me that.
Down in Norman, Oklahoma, ain't nobody feeling no pain.
Well, what do you think, Billy? How far can the Sooners go?
Well, they've got a lot of great athletes. And Billy Tubbs is a fellow that did it down at Lamar. He's doing that same run and gun. He is a much underrated coach. He's one of those guys got a lot of confidence in his ability to coach a ball club, and I think that goes right down to his ball players.
Remember the days when it was Billy Packer and Al McGuire? Well, we're going to reunite the two in just a moment. Well, the second loudest ovation we've heard today, Billy Packer, was when this man, Al McGuire, came out to the court. The students are still chanting Al. They think they're going to win another national championship for him.
Well, that only happens once, and especially at schools at independence. Very seldom do you can go back to a second championship. Today, basketball is so high-geared, and recruiting is such a big problem, especially for Marquette.
You don't come here often, Al, but I want to go back memory lane. I'm going to get a quote here. After you won in '77, it said, "It seems like it was preordained, but I don't like to use words that TV announcers use." Now, what are you going to come up with now?
Well, you know what happened, Billy? Really, I had 7 or 8 better teams in that club. It just so happened that club put it all together. One domino hit over another domino. But to give Dean Smith and the Tar Heels, they had 2 or 3 guys come up lame that game.
Let's talk about your assistant coach, Rick Majerus, who you've always felt a great deal for, a love for. You know what an outstanding basketball mind he's been. You've got to feel proud of what he's doing out here on the floor today as a coach.
I'm very proud for him. I'm very happy for him. Rick is a gym rat. He never really played basketball. All he can do in basketball is set a good pick. That's about it. But he works very, very hard.
He probably ate the training table meal pretty good.
Well, you know, he lost about 20 pounds. It's like having a deck chair blow off the Queen Mary.
I'll tell you why he lost 20 pounds. Al's got a charity run here, which is one of the great ones in the country. So one year he comes up with the idea that Rick's going to have to run in it, so he had to lose 20 pounds so he didn't kill himself.
Al, I want to thank you very much for coming out this afternoon. You do a heck of a job over at NBC. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. I'd like the people to know that I do live in Milwaukee. It's my home, and I live here by choice. I just love the place.
It's a beautiful town. We enjoy it. All right. We're going to continue with Pat Summerall and John Matt.
Today's game between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Marquette Warriors is sponsored by Miller Beer. Miller made the American way since 1855. Delta Airlines, 39,000 professionals serving more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
At the half, the Tar Heels of Carolina leading Marquette. And you know, Billy, a couple of things show hustle, and one of which I've always thought was offensive rebound.
No question about it. Marquette was quicker to the ball than was North Carolina. They blocked out well in their zone defense. And turnovers. North Carolina averages 14 turnovers per game. Here they have 14 at halftime.
Now, Marquette shot poorly in the closing moments of that first half. They missed their last 8 shots, and that's why they have fallen behind here. So the top-ranked team in the nation with an uneasy 2-point lead starts off getting it inside, and it's goaltending is the call on Downey.
Now what has to happen for Marquette right here? North Carolina is notorious for taking those blitzes on you at the start of the second half. Marquette's got to keep the pace of this game right where they had it in the first half and not try to force action.
Trotter moves it to Moore. Moore, a good shooting left-handed guard. Missed from the corner as time was running out. Trotter
got that fly-in left-hander. And look for Dean Smith to stay with his basic lineup a lot more in the second half. That's another characteristic of his coaching. He uses a lot of people in the first half, then kind of settles things down in the second.
Kenny Smith to Wolf. Wolf playing with 2 injured little fingers in this game. Carolina's possession.
That's something that's really going to be open, to hit the ball at the top of the foul line and then fire down inside against that 2-3 zone.
A glimpse of the tape on the left hand. And that has affected his performance, no doubt, not only here, but certainly yesterday against Duke. He fouled out in that game.
Marquette doing a nice job doubling up when that ball goes inside.
They went inside, and they doubled up a little too aggressively that time, and Downing fouled.
Well, Rick Majerus doesn't want any cheap fouls on Downing because he needs his body in there.
That's 2 personals.
Second, the team first. Wolf will shoot 2.
On Downing. Carolina leading 34-32.
North Carolina, a 74% free throw shooting team. You know, we talked about Georgetown with their great ball clubs. They were not good free throw shooting teams, and when you've got a club that has this caliber, shoots that highly, and goes to the line a lot, it's a big advantage. Nice follow through. There's the full court pressure.
Marquette gets it up. Trotter again. Missing that time, but Downing with an offensive rebound, and he's fouled by Martin.
North Carolina has been a pressure team, full court pressure, half court traps. But with this ball club, Dean Smith does not have the quickness, so they basically fall back. One of the few times they ran the press, it wasn't very effective. Here's Martin trying to come in for the block. Gets there a little late. Downing did the foul.
Downing's first free throw of the game.
First free throw for Marquette the entire game.
This shows he's a little rusty. He says, wait a minute. Didn't the ball hit anything? Now he's got his aim, folks. Now he's ready.
And fires that one a real brick. And great rebound.
Boone stays with it.
it's Trotter. Hook won't fall. And Downing is called for the personal foul. And Majerus is furious. Livid over here on the sideline.
Rick's got to be careful. He doesn't want to pick up a technical. His team's right in the ball game here. That's a tough break for Marquette. They had some easy chances on the board.
Tie's starting to come down a little bit early in the second half. I'm sure he changed shirts. Hale is 0 for 3 from the field. Scored a career-high 28 yesterday against the Blue Devils. He came inside, and he was fouled. That's the first on Johnson.
Johnson has had a good game today in regard to thinking in this ball game, and just a little over-anxious there trying to cut Hale off. Had really no need to have to commit that foul. Looking for the lob.
Doherty short on the shot. Johnson comes to the attack court for the Warriors. Boone with that high arching shot. He is now 4 of 13 for the field.
Boone was all conference at St. Mary's. We're not talking about a transfer that didn't have his game together. There's a lob pass inside. Good block.
Boone staying right with Doherty and Downing that time.
Marquette just quicker, and they have enough power inside with Trotter and Boone and Downing. There's enough body strength in there to keep North Carolina out. We have to be careful of the lob pass on this out-of-bounds play.
Smith and Hale play catch. Hale gets it inside, and that jump hook by Doherty is successful. And it's a 4-point Carolina lead.
Notice Dean Smith has not substituted yet. Staying basically with this club. Probably Lebo will be the first guy coming in off the bench.
Warriors ball. Down away from the basket.
Boy, that's a cheap foul. That's on Walter Downing. Now, they've been letting them play pretty hard out here today. That was just a touch foul on the inside.
That's 4 fouls on Downing. That's 3 of them here in the second half.
A 2-shot foul.
And
17 minutes to go.
We'll see the foul on the inside.
Wolf will shoot
Downing
2.
smacked, and they're going to call it a 2-shot intentional. He got caught with a cheap one. I'll tell you, if you're a big guy and you're playing under the basket, you should never go for the cheap foul, Brent, because you got 3-man referee in the game. So there's always a guy on that baseline, and that's his responsibility. It's not like you're going to be able to sneak one in there. Not a smart play.
Pressure is squarely on Tom Copa.
Now, what happened there? The man that he intentionally fouled was Warren Martin. Joe Wolf went to the line. Warren Martin shoots 86%. Normally, when you put another man on the line, it's a guy that shoots better, but Martin is one of the best free throw shooters on the club.
Homecoming free throw.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that twist.
Marquette down by 5 here at the 17-minute mark. Trotter maneuvering. Keeps it in play, and Johnson's the open man, and he's short. Gets it back. 3rd shot. Buries that one.
You won't find many teams getting 2nd and 3rd shots the way Marquette has gotten against North Carolina. They're just beating them to the ball.
Carolina with those 2 big trees inside, and one of them, Downing, got in behind, and he was pushed that time.
That was Kerry Trotter pushing off. He just was outsized. Went right over his head.
So a reminder, next Saturday we've got NCAA action on CBS, a doubleheader. Illinois will go into Indiana to take on the Hoosiers, and then in your second game you'll see either St. John's against Pittsburgh or the action between USC and Arkansas.
Well, Indiana broke that home losing streak, so they ought to be ready to roll next week.
On the turnover, it's Johnson in the middle. Short. Wolf rebounding.
Hale cut off, and he gets it to Doherty. Martin. The difference in this game is that size advantage right underneath the basket. You simply cannot offset that.
Now you notice that man-to-man by Carolina, and they're staying with this starting lineup. Marquette starting to get frazzled a little bit.
Doherty.
I'd say Marquette's a little tired right now here, Brent. They gave such an effort in that first half. It looks like they're wearing down early here in the second half. Screen by Joe Wolf.
Hale passes it up, takes this one. And Hale rattles in his first field goal.
Marquette could use a timeout because they're fatigued right now. Not because they're not playing well, but they're just kind of wearing down a little bit. And it is going to be Jeff Lebo coming in. He's on the sideline.
They trap him in the corner. They force the turnover. Great play by Hale. Kenny Smith passes up the shot. Doherty's blocked by Copa. The Warriors run it down. It's Boone. Free. Hale with a slick steal. That's two terrific defensive moves by Hale.
Got to be a timeout for Marquette. They're just getting tired. And Rick Majerus calls one.
The biggest lead of the afternoon by the Tar Heels. 45-36. We'll be right back. Number 42, Brad Doherty, on the afternoon is 9 of 15. He also has 7 rebounds, and he has scored a total of 20 points. Billy Packer, we take a look at field goal percentage leaders. He's number 1 in the nation. What kind of an NBA prospect do you make Doherty?
The first thing I'd be thinking about if I was an NBA team is Brad Doherty started his senior year at North Carolina, 19 years of age. So that means he has a long way to go before he gets his full maturity. Maybe 2-3 years in the NBA. He'll still only be 22 years of age. I'd sure take a chance on him. Right now, I think he's probably playing better than any center in the United States.
So Smith puts in a smaller, quicker team right now. Copa fouled as he came up with the shot that time.
North Carolina changing their defense, puts in a full group of substitutions to put a little pressure on Marquette, feeling maybe they're a little bit whipped.
Dave Popson assessed that personal foul. He's out there with Wolf, Smith, Madden, and Lebo. So the 2 freshmen, the 2 ballyhooed freshmen on the floor for North Carolina, Madden and Lebo.
You're talking about high school prospects. Every one of those kids were considered very highest caliber in the country. Popson really hasn't had the career that people anticipated at North Carolina, but he's sure a good talent.
Goes to Carolina. Boone hit the ball out of bounds. Dean Smith over on the sideline with Hale. He'll get him back into the lineup at the next break.
Man-to-man goes Marquette. You got to watch out for backdoor cuts now. North Carolina really knows how to go backdoor.
Knocked out of bounds by Moore. Carolina's ball. Here's Hale checking in. And Madden sits.
So North Carolina being that 3-guard offense, Doherty right back in. You notice Dean Smith sticking with the major players here in the second half. Yesterday, Steve Hale made a living going backdoor on Duke. Doherty inside. Copa doing a good job bodying him.
They hit Wolf on the cut. Copa rebounds for Marquette. Pop Sims running the offense for Majerus.
Copa's got position. They ought to get him in, get it inside.
He wants it again on Doherty. He got it back, and Kenny Smith had alertly moved into the passing lane. Now he hits Lebo. All blue underneath. Tap in, credited with Joe Wolf.
Marquette's got a problem now. You get behind North Carolina, you try to catch up in a hurry. They've got to keep the tempo of their game nice and easy. Stay within striking distance. Buckmore looked for his jump shot. Going backwards. Trotter, and it's 8. That's a big league jump shot there. Trotter was a little bit off balance.
scrambled on Doherty. Knocked out of bounds by Sims, and it is off Doherty. It'll go over to the Warriors, and Downing, with 4 personals, checks in.
Brad Doherty thought maybe he got grabbed on the arm going the lane, but he took that one about 15 feet.
So that's next. We heard from Madden at halftime. The World Triathlon Championship's also coming up. 13 minutes here. It's 47-39.
There's a double team.
Johnson and Sims operating together. Trotter gets to the baseline. Nice shot.
Hale is playing good position defense, but Trotter just has that size advantage on him. It was right over his head.
It was 10, down to 6. Downing way off at Doherty.
That's going to be on Trotter.
It was Hale trying to fight through, and Trotter fouled him, and that's his 4th personal foul.
When you get a little tired, you start to grab and hold. You don't move your feet to get position, and that's what happened to Trotter that time. You can see it coming. Hale's going to move to the ball. Now, instead of Trotter moving his feet, he tries to just hold him with the arms. And there was the foul. Fans didn't like it. And back goes the zone. The out-of-bounds situation. Downing back in there. I guess Rick Majerus figures he might as well use him. He's no value at the end of the ball game. 3 seconds.
Marquette can ease back to within 4.
Terry, Trotter, and Boone. You want one of those 2 guys to have a chance to score here. There it is. There's Boone. It's offense.
Banged into Wolf. Offensive foul. And for Boone, that's his 3rd personal.
That was a good move, though, by Marquette. Getting the ball to the hands of the right fella. Even though the execution was not there, good idea.
Timeout in Milwaukee. We'll be right back. 11:42 to play. Did you get an opportunity to see the job that Bradley guard Percy Hawkins did against Drake and Dayton? Well, here he is around the rim.
Jimmy West tossing on the inbound. 1 second remaining now for Bradley. Here's the baseball feed in, and they're trying to get the tip up by Hawkins. Oh, yes! Does it count? I think so. I think so. Jimmy West to Hersey Hawkins, and the Braves win it.
West gets a free pass with 1 second to go. The pass is to Hawkins. He turns and fires from 20. Goal! It goes! It goes again! And it counts! And it counts, and it's 69-69, and we're going to overtime again.
Oh, a tip of the old fedora to Hersey Hawkins, and also Tony Benford, a senior guard from Texas Tech. He had 3 buzzer beaters already this season. Some job by Hersey, isn't it, Billy? And here, Smith with a miss, and Hale was left alone, and he missed the shot on the other side. He was all alone over there and couldn't put it down, and the Warriors can again pull to within 4 if they get something going. Here's Sims.
They want to get it to Boone and Trotter. Hey,
pops him.
He is 3 for 3. Came into the game shooting 30%. Made all 3 jumpers he's put up. Crowd favorite around here.
6 straight Marquette points, and the Warriors climb right back in. Hale has it knocked free. Here comes Sims. It's a 2-point game. Two-point game at the 10:30 mark. 47-45. Carolina leading. Lebo. The Warriors can tie it.
Looks like North Carolina lost a little of their composure here all of a sudden.
They look a little tired all of a sudden, Billy.
The momentum has shifted.
Mighty Mo. Here's Downing, left-handed. Score it. Majerus and the Warriors are tied.
Terrific comeback by Marquette. North Carolina has to go timeout.
Return to the Mecca Arena after these messages from your local station.
Today's game between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Marquette Warriors is sponsored by the over 1,400 Midas muffler and brake shops in America. McDonald's, it's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. And by Nissan, who invite you to test drive the all-new Nissan truck hard bodies at your Nissan Datsun dealer now.
We're back live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm Brent Musburger along with Billy Packer. Marquette and top-ranked North Carolina with 9:54 to go are tied at 47. Marquette has reeled off 10 straight points. The Tar Heels have gone 340 without a point here in the second half. Doherty's blocked. Trotter is tied up. Hale comes out of there. Jump ball, and the arrow is pointing in the Warriors' direction.
Again, a real good move by Rick Majerus. He had Walter Downing with 4 fouls on him, but he brought him back into the game, realizing, hey, if I don't get back into this thing, it'll be a blowout. I'll never get to use him anyway. Downing comes up with a big block. North Carolina goes zone. A little trap here.
Downing deep in behind Doherty. Now Martin jumps over on him. They hit Boone in the middle. That was the place that was open. That's 12 straight points by the Warriors.
It's funny, they looked like they were tired right before the start of right at the beginning of the second half, and now they've come back.
Great defensive block by Kenny Smith. The man was all alone. It was going to be an easy field goal for Marquette, and instead Smith saved it with a great leaping block that time.
North Carolina showed the zone trap. Now they're right back to their man-to-man. Trapping out of it.
Sims, he's hurt him. Doherty went outside. And so it's Johnson from the front from Majerus. Here's Doherty.
Walk. Yes, sir. Good job by Downing. You know, we have to point out, Michigan is no longer undefeated because Minnesota beat them. You know who beat Minnesota, don't you? Marquette. So you're talking about a team certainly capable. Great confidence going
Sims
now.
loses it. Hale goes after it on the floor. Marquette gets it back. They're ruling over and back. I didn't think it was even close.
Well, here's where 3 officials really help. Let's see the play. We're going to have Hale diving for it. No way. No way. No way. No way that was backcourt.
They had to restrain Majerus. He was about to become a 4th official.
Yeah, the official missed that one.
A break for the Tar Heels. Right now, they're thankful for anything. Wolf gets it, and he was fouled in there by Kevin Johnson.
Okay, here's the play. The ball is released by Boone before he steps over the end line. Now, watch, he steps over now, but the ball has left his hand. .7:49 to go, down 4 the Tar Heels. One of the things that really has helped Marquette is they've banged around well on the inside. Good physical game.
Somebody threw a rolled-up paper cup on the floor, and Majerus comes over toward the PA. He'll make an announcement.
Please, everybody on the floor.
Dean Smith.
Well, he didn't even hesitate. Majerus just walked right over there and did the right thing, didn't he? Just please don't throw anything on the floor. Unfair to the players. Great move by Majerus.
Now, North Carolina had a similar game against Maryland. They were down in the first half. Then they made their run. Maryland came back and took it away from them. North Carolina found themselves down 9 with their backs to the wall. Very similar type ball game.
The Tar Heels went 5:47 without a point. Trailing by 2 right now. 7:47, and Marquette has hit its last 7 shots.
Kenny Smith hawking man-to-man.
Here's Pop Sims, and he has hurt Carolina all afternoon.
He's having a career.
Wolf jumps it into authority. Downing gets away with it.
Boy, Downing got away with a big push.
Missing. Loose. Marquette. It's Johnson who wisely slows down the tempo. He didn't have the break that time.
Johnson is playing a smart game.
Oh, look at Sims now. Does he feel it? He says, I'm All-American today. Let's play. Trotter gets it back to Downing. Downing scoops it in. 55-49. Wolf to the left baseline.
You're going to have to reach down and pull it out if you're either one of these ball clubs right now. Somebody is going to tire out in this last 6 minutes of this game.
Sims on the drive to the basket.
Pop Sims is setting them on fire.
6 field goals.
I said North Carolina would not go to the bench. They've been primarily playing with these 5 players right now.
Here's Kenny Smith.
Good follow through.
Tomley hits the field goal. 57-53.
Rick Majerus calling for a timeout.
Six minutes and a possible upset brewing in Milwaukee. Unbeaten and top-ranked North Carolina trailing Marquette 57-53. I'm Brent Musburger along with Billy Packer. And Billy, the Tar Heels are suddenly having difficulty in low with their big fellas.
Well, they are, and Walter Downing, you'll watch him on this play, gets away with his second foul, second time down court. Watch him grab Warren Martin by the stomach, pulls him away, and then says, oh, ref, I touched no one. And the refs didn't see it. That could have been disastrous because that was on the shot that Kenny Smith made the jump shot.
Look at the second half. It is off Marquette. Pop Sims could not handle it. North Carolina set up a full court press on the inbounds pass. The pressure is successful at the 5:59 mark. So again, Dean Smith using that timeout to his advantage. This time it was the defensive edge that he was able to gain.
Lebo in the game's got that jump shot. They'll have to be aware of him.
Hale flashes in the middle, misses on the shot, and as Wolf went in, it was an offensive foul called on Joe Wolf, his second of the ball game. Now Marquette has hit 10 shots in a row against Smith and the Tar Heels.
You know, Brent, we get back to the 45-second shot clock in the game. You know, we've got 5:45 to go. Normally in college ball, Marquette could start delaying a little bit.
That pressure is coming because Marquette has not missed a field goal in 9.5 minutes right now. 9:36. They have been absolutely perfect here against the Heels.
Vintage Villanova?
Exactly. The trap. Out of bounds. Marquette's ball. 28 seconds on that 45-second shot clock.
Good job by Johnson again. Rather than make the bad pass, he threw it off the legs.
Boone with that high shot that he uses against the taller centers. 5:18, and now the Tar Heels will have to reach down and show some courage.
The fans have not sat down on that end of the floor. Good pass.
Whip pass into Doherty, blocked by Downing. Doherty off the fake, goes to the glass. Downing being very aggressive and playing with 4 personal fouls.
Well, Downing's doing a great job not leaning in with that body. He's just going straight up in the air. Did a super job on Doherty.
Downing at the offensive end. Crosses in the middle. He was fouled. He'll come to the line. It almost rolled in. He would have had an opportunity for a 3-point play. That's the second personal on Brad Doherty.
You know, I asked Al McGuire about that quote that he made after his team won down there in '77. There's another interesting quote in '74. Bo Ellis, the great player that Al had in '74.
He's seated right behind us.
He said, "We'll be back, not here, but somewhere. This was the wrong place and the wrong time." Bo said that in '74, and of course they came back in '77. We're beginning to wonder if this isn't the right place at the right time for Marquette today.
It is so tough for an independent to get exposure, especially because the Big East Conference was formed and so many of the outstanding basketball players are now staying in the East and playing for those schools. Al McGuire used to live off the schoolyards of New York. So Majerus has had to look elsewhere for his talent here at Marquette. He's not in the conference. He needs to win games, and he must catch the attention of those who select the teams for the NCAA tournament, and he is doing just that here this afternoon. It is 60-53, 4:41 to go.
Now the clock starts to worry North Carolina. They got to get some shots up a little quicker.
They whip it into Martin, and with a great block underneath.
A foul by Martin. He knocked Trotter to the floor. Rick Majerus is going crazy on the sideline.
They had to restrain Majerus. They pushed him back toward the end of the bench.
I don't blame him. His player got knocked to the floor by Warren Martin. You'll see the play in the inside. Another great play by Downing. And here you see Trotter with the ball. Gets knocked to the floor.
They miss. The Warriors get it back at the other end. And it is Pop Sims out of the Flint, Michigan area, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And there's a timeout. They're going wild in Milwaukee. Dick Papero and Rick Majerus. And Papero is telling the coach to tone down his act over there on the sideline. Majerus said, all right, I'll do that. 4:11 to go. We'll be right back.
And Illinois will clash in a matchup of Big Ten rivals. Then St. John's meets Pittsburgh, or USC takes on Arkansas next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Billy, let's review that play one more time.
Well, I don't know how a referee could make this call. Warren Martin goes up for the shot. Downing makes the great block. You'll see Trotter has the ball. Warren Martin runs right over him, and they're going to call Trotter for walking. Now, there's no way, and you don't blame Rick Majerus for being upset with that call.
We have been praising the North Carolina bench here this afternoon. Well, Rick Majerus' Warrior bench is outscoring the Tar Heels 19-4. In the second half against Smith, Marquette is shooting 65%. The Tar Heels 38%. Pop Sims has 14 points, 10 in the second half. 14 is his career high.
And that zone has really caused North Carolina problems because they're packing back in there and they're making them shoot from the outside.
Hale squeezing the trigger.
They just can't buy one.
Trotter rebounding. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Will this be the fourth?
Big steal by Lebo. Now, there's 5 seconds. That referee ought to start counting it. He waited a while. Johnson has really done the job in the backcourt today.
Bringing it up against the pressure.
They can't get too conservative here.
Maneuvering to the corner. Gets it back now to Trotter. Dangerous pass, and Johnson was watching Sims loose. It's the Tar Heels again trying to put together a burst here. Lebo on the pass to Kenny Smith.
Oh, Waller Downing.
What an amazing block.
That substitution by Rick Majerus getting Downing back in that game saved them.
That is 8 block shots by Downing.
It's a new school record, isn't it?
Absolutely.
7 was his high, and that was a record before. Man, wide open.
Now Now Doherty comes back with a defensive play, and they hit the open man is Lebo. He'll go in for the layup.
Timeout.
Carolina's right in at the 2:40 mark. Now, I want to show you this block by Downing, because what's significant about this is he doesn't knock the ball out of bounds. Watch what happens under control. It is Smith positioning, Downing rising up. He doesn't just swat the ball out of bounds and lose it. He swallows it. We've got a timeout, 2:39. It's 62-57. We'll be right back. Back in Milwaukee, along with Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger. The Tar Heels in danger of being upset by Marquette. In 1984, Dean Smith broke to his best start ever, 21-0, and that ended on national television on a Sunday afternoon. The Tar Heels were beaten by Arkansas.
Possession arrow in favor of North Carolina.
Boone on the bounce pass to Sims.
I'd want to get that ball in Johnson's hands right now.
They didn't.
Nope.
And as a result, Carolina forced the turnover.
Oh, what a shot.
Scoops it in underhanded. Great body control.
And here's why coaches save their timeouts. Dean Smith has got a full complement going. He stops the clock right there.
62-59. 2:25 to go. Smith having stopped the clock. And watch, Billy Packer made the best observation. They didn't get the ball in the hands of their point guard on that trip. And that's the man who has calmly brought it across the timeline. And Hale, who had 28 points, a spectacular performance against Duke yesterday, coming in with that driving layup. Now let's go inside that Marquette huddle and see what Rick Majerus is telling the Warriors.
On the same way, a regular 4 o'clock, in the screener, and hopping the ball, don't free dribble, look to reverse it, get it up court. We've got to look up court. You've got to move to create a passing angle. Extend it, create a passing angle. Guys are going to walk the ball and come to it. Technically, we're okay. Let's think about what we've got to do here. Let's get it up. When we get it over half court, we've got to get our motion, take a good shot.
And what I like about this, Brent, and we're overhearing what he's telling his teams to do, is how calm he is. And the players can react to that. He's telling them to get the passing lanes open, make sure they extend the court to make North Carolina's defense play the full court instead of being able to jam and double team.
There, of course, is the Dean, Mr. Smith. They don't come any better than he is.
And again, and not to belabor the point, the 45-second shot clock eliminates the opportunity to sit on the ball. So if you're Marquette, you got to somehow get into your offense. 62-59 means North Carolina probably needs at least 2 possessions to get up to you. So you can't sit on it the rest of the way.
Now, Brad Doherty has not scored the last 15 minutes. He's missed 5 straight shots. Here's Pop Sims quickly to the attack for the Warriors. Johnson into the paint. Unusual balance on the shot. The Warriors battle to keep it alive. Sims will get it. Hale comes through with another big play. It's a 1-point Marquette lead.
I'm surprised that Johnson went in there. He can get better shots than that. They're starting to panic a little bit.
And Wolf kneed him as he came around. That's the 3rd personal on Joe Wolf.
Johnson, an 81% free throw shooter, but no 1-and-1.
Now Marquette, of course, had been up by 9 points.
Big double team. Big double team. Yep.
And it goes over. North Carolina with an opportunity of going ahead here at the 1:47 mark.
And you better believe they're going to try to get that ball popped inside somehow to Doherty or Wolf. And that zone knows it, too. The zone's packed way back inside. North Carolina has not put a man on the foul line all day, and that's where somebody would really be open.
Smith missing Sims, and Johnson with control. Covers up, dribbles free.
No place to go down there.
Sims to the top. Kenny Smith trying to steal the ball from him. They finally get it done. Lebo and Smith pick his pockets.
That's going to be a 2-shot foul. That's going to be a 2-shot foul. The basket will count. It'll be an intentional intentional foul. He'll get 2. Could be a 4-point play. When Pop Sims realized he couldn't catch him, he should not have tried to foul him. It's going to be the new rule. Intentional foul, 2 shots to the shooter. Had he missed that, Brent, it would be 2 shots to the shooter and then the ball out of bounds for North Carolina. Big play. Kenny Smith, an 85% free throw shooter.
And this is his first free throw of the game. And they only gave him 1, Billy. They didn't give him that 2-shot.
I can't believe that. Obviously an intentional foul from behind. Well, I was wrong on that, but I would have called that an intentional. That's why I'm not reffing, I guess.
Sims moves it back to Johnson. Boone, Downing, and Trotter up front.
North Carolina goes to the zone.
Sims for the tie. He's got it. Pop Sims is 8 of 10 on the day.
North Carolina going to take the timeout, probably hold it for 1. You're on the road. Hold it for 1. Try to go OT.
Timeout. North Carolina's ball against Rick Majerus. We'll be right back. Oh, Billy, here's that foul again. Seems to be no question about it.
Yeah, you have Kenny Smith with the ball in his right arm. Pop Sims is just trying to pull him down on the floor. He wasn't going for the ball at all. Obviously an intentional foul. I thought it should have been 2.
That rule is going to cause a great deal of controversy. You're putting a tremendous burden on the officials. The timeout situation remaining. Marquette with the lone one left in regulation time, and the possession arrow in favor of Carolina. It is Carolina's ball. 28 seconds left, and we are tied at 64.
So many times teams do not worry about getting the ball in bounds in this situation. The main thing is to get it inbounds.
They do to Kenny Smith, the right man to have it.
And I'd hold this baby for 1 last shot, particularly in Marquette in the zone. Just keep it out there.
They wind it down. Hale with an eye on the clock. That's the only clock working in this arena. It's in a somewhat awkward position.
They better get moving.
But they got to go now. Down to 5 seconds left in regulation. Smith, and a foul is called on Johnson.
3 seconds to go. Plenty of time for Marquette to get something off. North Carolina played that very well. We've got 2 coaches really in a great chess game today. Like the last time they met. Al McGuire and Dean Smith down in Atlanta. They both had a great chess match. It's been a super game. Smith on the line.
Warren Martin comes in, and Dean Smith wants him positioned at the defensive end. And now Warren finally picks up the signal, and the last timeout will be called by Majerus here.
I'm really surprised Dean Smith didn't have all his rebounders there on the end line, because on a missed shot, you want to be able to go get it. There's 3 seconds left. You got plenty of time to put up that missed shot. But he had Joe Wolf in that particular case going back down court. Let's see how he deploys his team at this point. Rick Majerus is telling, hey, all the things can happen to you, Brent. If he misses the first, what you do. If he makes both, what you do. He's got to plan everything now because he doesn't have any more timeouts left. And neither does Smith.
That's coming up next, right after we conclude this basketball action.
How about the 1-and-1 situation here? Because if you're North Carolina and they're not in the 1-and-1 yet, and I don't believe they are. Is that right? What? They have 5, so they can. North Carolina can foul 1 time and not put Marquette on the line. So if you're North Carolina, and as soon as Marquette gets that ball in bounds, you want to go ahead and try to commit a foul where you're going to steal the ball, making them take it out again.
At that free throw line this afternoon, North Carolina is 10 of 12, and Marquette is 2 of 6.
And did not have an opportunity to go to the line in the first half. A lot of things go on in the mind of coaches in this particular situation. You have to warn your players, no timeouts left. If you're North Carolina, you want to commit that foul so you don't allow them to get down court.
We're going on a regular personal.
Now, 2 made shots if you're Marquette. You've got to go the length of the court with that pass.
Here we go. 2 together.
You got a rebound, that's White. Come on, Marquette.
They call that timeout icing the shooter. Let's see how effective it's been on Kenny Smith.
So Kenny Smith, and a cup lands at his feet, and he backs away. A rolled-up paper cup was thrown by someone in the stands. And he's shaking his head. He'll walk back in. It's a long way from the streets of Queens to the free throw line with 3 seconds to go, and that's the road that Kenny Smith has traveled.
Now, the referee, you remember that orange that was thrown at Syracuse when Georgetown went to the line. The referees have some opportunity to make a decision here. Cool custom.
3 seconds to tie it.
I thought they
Quickly
should foul.
to Sims. He fires the ball off the glass, and North Carolina stays #1. But Rick Majerus and Marquette push Dean Smith and the Tar Heels right up against the wall. And our Chevrolet most valuable players of this game are this afternoon Brad Doherty for North Carolina, and Billy Packer said, let's go with the coach, Rick Majerus, and I say that's a splendid idea. Majerus did a magnificent job, but came up 2 points short. Once again, the final score, North Carolina 66, Marquette 64. And for Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger saying so long from Milwaukee. Next Saturday, a college basketball doubleheader. The first game, Illinois against Indiana. Then in St. John's and Pittsburgh, or USC and Arkansas in the second game. Now remember, Sports Sunday is coming up next. NCAA basketball has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the NCAA championship. So long, everybody.